Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode, the pilot episode of Comics on Comics.
Very true.
There's
been no episodes before this.
This is the pilot. If this was network television, that's what we would be calling it. This is a new podcast started by myself. My name is Max Bolin.
I'm Oscar.
My good friend Oscar.
Yeah.
We're roommates. We live together.
Yep. I am a comic. I do stand-up comedy. I write sketches sometimes. I'm a general funny person, and I like comic books, and Max really likes comic books.
I review them for this website called Gatecrashers, and I'm trying to get into other websites as well. I'm also studying media right now in college. So what?
You're such an asshole.
I wasn't gonna say cinema because it's a comic podcast.
Yeah, no, but
yeah. And so we thought this would be fun. So basically the format of it, we haven't totally figured out yet, but it's going to be pretty casual as might be clear already.
Yeah.
And each week we're probably just going to bring in a book to talk about, and then sort of go into the book and what we thought about it. And
but you can't really expect we're going to talk about the book all that much.
Yeah, we're going to be riffing. lots of riffs over here.
Yeah.
And also, we are probably more interested in comics as a medium than we are in the whatever specific plot occurred in the book.
Yeah.
We're probably more interested in how did the artist and writer express this plot than we are in what's going to happen next issue. Let
me also say, I'm really more into Eastern comics, i.e. manga and anime, and Max is very into Western comics. That's not to say, you've never read any manga, but it's like...
I have probably read more Western comics than is healthy.
And there's nothing I can do about the chair. This is as low as my chair goes.
I have a beach chair.
It's true.
And Oscar has a...
It's one of those disgusting, bungee chairs.
It's really
uncomfortable.
It's not great. This is our setup for now. We're going to upgrade eventually.
No.
Anyway, today's episode, we're going to be talking the first book, The Department of Truth, Volume 1, The End of the World by James Tynion and Martin Simmons.
And Volume 1 is chapters 1 to 4, right? Or is it 1 to 5?
I believe it is chapters 1 to 4... 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to...
In case you're reading only the
issues.
Chapters. I don't really know how it works for publishing.
Well, we want to talk about that. Basically, each month an issue comes out, and then usually about 6 months after the 5th issue or so, they'll release the trade. This book in particular...
Trade as in the volume?
This is a trade, yeah. They call this trade paperbacks. This book in particular was probably faster than most, because the first issue sold 100,000 copies, which is absurd.
Sure, okay. That is one thing I really wanted to ask you. Was
totally insane. This is really popular.
Really popular.
The writer for this has won the Eisner, which is the Oscars for comics, except even lamer. 3 years in a row, which is bad, by the way.
Huh?
Bad. He's won it 3 years in a row. Really stupid.
But
not how an award show should work.
But if he is the best 3 years in a row, what are you going to do? Maybe other people should step up their fucking game.
I cannot see how it's possible.
Are we swearing?
Clearly.
Okay.
I mean, we're reading...
Oh my god. Really true.
We're reading intense shit. So this is a really popular book. It sold really well from the get-go. James Tynion is a really popular writer. He started probably a decade and a half ago. So he went to Sarah Lawrence College, which is important to know because Scott Snyder, a person you don't know, but who was the sort of biggest writer at DC for a while, teaches at Sarah Lawrence. And so they met there.
That's cool. No relation to Zack Snyder.
No. Much confusion to younger Max when I was first getting into comics. I was like, what is happening here? What is going on? So Scott Snyder kind of took James Tynion under his wing, and Scott Snyder was the Batman writer for a really long time, and so then James Tynion sort of just played around the Batman world, but a lot of his comics were sort of the horror side of Gotham, as is evident in this
book. And we can see a lot of Batman in this.
Oh, yeah.
He's Cole what's his name?
Turner.
Cole Turner. Very Batman.
Yeah, so...
He's really cool.
James Tynion is the kind of writer who really puts a lot of himself in every book he writes. He's very openly gay, and very openly sort of influenced by horror and everything, and good at it, too. So, he can get away with it.
If you have not read Department of Truth, the main character is a man with a husband
Uh-huh.
might put you off.
Might trigger you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is obviously not a DC book. It is published by Image, which means that he totally owns the copyright to it and everything.
That's cool.
And he actually does not work at DC anymore because he left to go do his own shit. Which
Good for him.
we are big supporters of.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think this was about?
What was this about?
Yeah, what do you think it was about?
It's pretty transparently criticizing the modern right and the way conspiracy theory forms people's
Right.
worldviews.
I just meant plot-wise. If someone hasn't read this, what do you think it's about?
Oh. Okay.
I feel like you should recap it.
Cole Turner
Yeah.
is a man with a husband.
Uh-huh. He wears glasses.
Originally, he worked for the FBI
Mm-hmm.
until he goes to a Flat Earth convention and gets shown the end of the world
Yeah.
with a monster and a woman in a red dress with no eyes. And later, he gets basically abducted by the quote-unquote Department of Truth, in which he is shown that really people's beliefs define what happens in reality. You just look like a crazy comic book nerd, which is what you are. You should... Oh, maybe if you were like... Never mind. I was going to say something really mean.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We have to build up to that.
Yeah, right.
We hate each other.
We really do.
This is purely profit-driven. We were like, I think this could be a good dynamic.
Yeah. It's like the guys on Mythbusters.
Oh my god, yeah.
They hated each other.
Fucking despise
We
each
are
other.
like Jamie and the other one.
Adam. No, Adam is... Yeah, Adam.
Yeah, Adam. Who also kind of looks like Adam Connor.
Yeah, who... really annoying human being.
Really annoying guy. Oh my god. Every time I see Adam Conover, there's just a part of me that's just like, I don't want to listen to you. Because it's not like he's saying anything bad. It's just...
He's saying things that are really intelligent, frankly.
Yeah, it's just like, oh.
So basically, where does
Oh, wait, sorry. Let me get...
this end, though?
Well, basically, people's thoughts define their reality. So
Right.
if enough people believe the moon landing was faked,
Mhm.
they are going to find evidence, and that will end up becoming reality.
It'll literally be true.
Yeah. So what the Department of Truth does is keep conspiracy theories instead of letting them be real. And I think one of the greatest moments in the comic that at least I have read is that chapter 1 ends with this great panel of this mystery man who's been talking to Cole being, I am Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, it's... The Department of Truth is run by Lee Harvey Oswald.
It's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, crucially, they decide what conspiracy theories are true and false.
Mhm.
Which is kind of the central conceit of this.
The most powerful chapter of it was about the woman whose son died in a school shooting.
Yeah.
Because the conspiracy theory got to her. So
Yeah.
people were saying the conspiracy was that the school shooting was faked. You know, people were paid actors.
It's a Sandy Hook thing.
Yeah, it's Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
And she got convinced herself because she wanted to believe her son was still alive.
Which is so understandable.
Right. And then
Haunting.
Cole is made to kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, not kill her, but kill that any part of her that believes it's true.
And it's really terrifying.
Because the main antagonist of the series is this organization called the Black Hat, who provides her with a USB stick with a video of like her faking.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, dude, we will be right back.
Did it just die?
Yeah.
Obviously, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
spoilers. If you don't like spoilers...
Hold on. We have to do a cutback in. Okay, so sorry about that. Our light died.
Yeah. Well, Oscar's light died.
My light died.
I wouldn't have actually
Let me refocus it. It was not focused.
Okay. So yeah, the Black
So, yeah.
Hat is the antagonist of this volume, at least. How much am I allowed to speak about future events in this?
I mean,
You're not a spoiler person. You don't really care.
no, but I think it would be interesting to do a sequel to this. So I don't think you should spoil it too much. But it is evident that the Department of Truth is going to become the antagonist. Yeah.
All I will say is this, is that the Black Hats obviously are wrong in the first volume, right? But their real point is that, why should the government decide what is true?
That's what the
Which
last chapter is about. The last
Yeah.
chapter is saying, Cole, don't you feel bad for killing people just for doing what humans do, which is believing in
Yeah.
things.
And it's really interesting.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Really compelling.
But obviously the conspiracy theories are just factually harmful.
Yeah, they're bad.
So it's like, what do we do with that?
That's
Because
sort
we
of the
shouldn't
central
be
question.
we shouldn't be policing people's thoughts, but at the
No.
same time, they shouldn't be able to be allowed to think whatever they want.
It's scary because when you take it into the real world and think about stuff like January 6th or whatever, those conspiracy theories literally led to actual real
Well,
life.
and in this comic, it takes up to 11 because the conspiracy theories, they're reality.
Yeah, they're just reality.
Right.
Which obviously is a metaphor, but it's also like for the people who believe in conspiracy theories, it is reality to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And meeting them at their level is kind of what this book is talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then how are you supposed to convince them of anything else?
Exactly. Something that this book hasn't really addressed yet, and I say yet because I have obviously read the beginning, but I feel like that a lot of conspiracy theorists, they don't want to be proven right. They want to feel like they are being subversive without any of the payoff.
They're just so confused and angry at the world. They need something to
They need
explain.
an out, but they don't want their problem to be solved.
No, because if the problem is solved, then they're just going to find a new problem.
Exactly.
Right? Like every time we find an answer...
If Graham Hancock was not making Ancient Apocalypse.
There is a show that we are big fans of.
Big fans.
Huge fans. There's this guy, Graham Hancock. He's actually been on Joe Rogan Experience.
I want to be on Joe Rogan so bad.
Oscar's been talking about how badly they want to be on Joe Rogan. Graham Hancock believes that before the Ice Age, there was just a huge civilization that was really advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they knew everything.
Well, not that advanced.
The way he talked about it.
They could make a boat.
Yeah, they could make boats and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but we just forgot about them.
Yeah.
And his evidence is like Noah's Ark.
But the best part about his series is that he will be saying things that make a decent amount of sense, and then he just says the one thing that completely loses you.
Which is actually kind of how the series works, right?
Sure.
Because if you think about conspiracy theories, there are pieces of evidence that are
Let's look at some panels
that are factually correct. Like, there are weird things that happen in the world.
So, specifically, they have this great spread. I do not know if it is called that in
Yes,
Western
it is called
comics.
a spread. Yeah.
But there's this spread specifically about Obama being Kenyan. Do you remember this?
Oh my god, yeah.
Where the fuck is it? Where the fuck? Dude, I was reading this, and there was like a bunch of people watching me read this. I was reading it in public. I was really embarrassed.
Yeah, reading comics in public is so fun. This is not what you're talking about.
It's before this, actually.
Right. So, while Oscar's looking, I fucking love the art in this. Martin Simmons, I was doing research on him. I don't know what else he's drawn. I don't know. But
it's watercolor. It looks so
it's
good.
so
it looks
cool.
like watercolor.
And it really fits the tone of the series, I think, because it's really atmospheric and really moody and really scary. And, like, half of it sort of seems... It's this weird blend of realism, which, I hate realism in comic art, by the way. But just fake enough where it's like, oh, it's like conspiracy realism. And it's really cool.
So, by the way, I love... Because there's a lot of comics that are embarrassed to maximize their art form and for impact.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, if we move to a different medium for a second, that's what I like about, like, movies like Into the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
They are unabashed.
Mm-hmm.
And this comic is also unabashed.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
You could read this without reading the text. You wouldn't know what's happening, but it'd be a great experience.
Starface is so scary.
Yeah.
The design is amazing.
Horrifying.
Yeah. So, in this page... which is in near the beginning of chapter 4.
There'll be we'll let it like a pop-up in the corner.
Maybe. There's like this double spread of 12 memos that a reporter has received from Black Hat about basically the conspiracy theory regarding Obama's nationality.
Mm-hmm.
And it paints a narrative of deep state intervention in democratic affairs. And it makes a lot of sense. But also at the same time you're reading it, you know it's not true.
Right.
But it's convincing. And the comic makes a point to show you it is properly convincing. Because even the reporters in Cole are like, yeah, I believe that.
Yeah. The comic's actually really effective in drawing you down its own rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because if you just think about panel layouts, when it begins, before the conspiracy theories really start, it's just a normal comic, right?
Well, not so much normal.
No, but
yeah.
Panels, dialogue, as a comic looks like.
You're right.
But as we get deeper into the conspiracies, the panels start to break, and eventually we get art like this.
Right.
Which just breaks through the form.
One thing I've noticed, actually, specifically reading, is that reading this can be kind of choppy sometimes.
Oh, it's not an easy book to read.
Because he will do a double spread, but not tell you it's a double spread.
Yeah, it's really
So you're supposed to read it across the top, but you don't know until it stops making sense.
The art literally draws you into the conspiracy.
Like this page, for
example. In a really interesting way.
This page at the end of chapter 3, I was reading it right, left to right, up to down, but then it started making sense. You have to read it across. Yeah. It's fucking with you.
Yeah, and
it's so smart.
Really intentional.
And then you start looking at it after, I'm like, I should have noticed.
Yeah, it's obvious if you look at it. And that's the whole point of conspiracy theories. They're obvious if you actually look at them. The truth is out there.
It's really effective, the way he uses the medium in order to make you believe what he wants you to believe.
Yeah, it's like...
And he does this really smart thing where he does, like, panels that have nothing in them.
Yeah, Martin Simmons has a lot of... He plays with blank space really interesting, because obviously comics sort of generally like to be action-heavy. They don't want to waste ink or paper or whatever.
Right.
But blank space is really important, and the lines between the panels are blurred, just like the lines between reality and conspiracy are blurred.
Except the lines between the panels aren't really blurred. There's not much interaction between the panels.
Yeah, it's when they break out.
It's about really reading experience.
Yeah.
One thing he does, though, is he will make one panel the backdrop for other panels, which is interesting. Like, it'll bleed.
Really interesting. Yeah.
At the beginning.
And also, look at this imagery, this American flag with the guns as the stars.
Yeah, it's really effective.
There's some imagery in the book that isn't really about what the dialogue's about. It's just, like, really effective.
Well, he loves doing this thing where he just draws a picture.
Yeah.
Like...
It's like a conspiracy theory. He just draws one.
I don't remember exactly what was happening, but I remember there was a conversation Cole and Lee were having, and the background just...
Lee Harvey Oswald. So cool. So cool.
Instead of, like, whatever room they were in, he didn't draw the room. He just drew an American flag.
Right.
And it's so effective.
It's insane.
It's a comic book. Why the fuck should I have to draw what's actually happening?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're already delving into this world where literally truth isn't real. Nothing is real.
Yeah.
So they're telling us, don't believe the comic. Even what Oscar was saying earlier about how Black Hat seems to clearly be the antagonist, but the comic is fucking with you.
Yeah.
Because there isn't really an antagonist. Mm-hmm. They're telling you, don't believe what you are reading. Mm-hmm. What you are reading is probably not real.
And this is another thing at the beginning of chapter 5. Sorry, this is chapter 4.
Yeah.
Another one where you can read it wrong.
Because they're watching events happen on a screen.
But also, you could just read that. I started reading this page without realizing it was a double spread. Yeah. I think another thing he does very effectively is this woman in the red dress is meant to be very menacing. Yeah. And he draws her exactly the same every time. Mm-hmm. It's really, really intentional. It's really good.
There's also a really intentional, we're saying the word intentional a lot. But, like, Cole is clearly our window into this world, and they do not lose sight of that.
Right.
Sometimes comics get really caught up in their world, and they're like, oh, the audience gets it. We don't have to, we can just sort of throw away our protagonist. But, like, we are following Cole and his journey. Mm-hmm. And I think he has a really interesting journey.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't really know what he thinks.
I did have a specific thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
So in chapter 4, the two reporters are talking, right?
Sure.
It is revealed later in the chapter that they are next door to the people in the Department of Truth. But that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is it just the fact that one of them has discovered the idea of the Department of Truth, that he has accessed the location? Yeah. Basically, like, he has believed it is true, so he's there.
I think that the whole idea is the Department of Truth even a real thing?
Right.
Because if we are believing that conspiracy theories make stuff real, then how do we know that the Department of Truth wasn't just some conspiracy theory that someone thought up? Because the whole thing is basically just the government saying that it's all real, which is what everyone says. Uh-huh. So yeah, the reporter just knew in their heart it was real. So it became real.
Cole did not believe it was real.
No, Cole does not believe in it.
Which kind of gives the viewer some pause and think that, okay, it is.
Yeah, you're also, as a reader, allowed to question the motives of everyone in the book. Because Cole has no idea what's happening.
Because it's Lee Harvey Oswald.
It is Lee Harvey Oswald.
You're not... It's a hard guy to trust.
It's a hard guy to trust. And, by the way, they don't explain how he's alive in this volume. Want to hear something interesting?
They never do.
They're never gonna. I have a feeling they are never gonna go into it.
I would feel kind of cheated if they did.
Yeah, because the whole point is, like...
It's not supposed to make any sense.
The JFK conspiracy, everyone believes in it.
Yeah.
Everyone believes in it. So how can you have an answer to it in this book?
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But it's so cool that he's the...
I love the question, though, is, like, is this the Lee Harvey Oswald that killed JFK, or is it the Patsy?
Yeah.
Both can be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never tell you, really.
It's interesting.
Really cool. There is a volume where they go into some of the lore of the Department of Truth, and it's also different artists. They never really explain a lot.
So I have some generalized talking points.
Yeah. We also have some
believe,
quotes we might discuss later.
I believe you do too, but I think
Oscar should go first.
You really, really do.
I strongly believe you should.
Okay. Yeah. I want to talk about how this is connected to some other things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
I know Max is going to be instantly annoyed when I say this. I'm putting my money on it. But one of my favorite series in the whole world is Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm.
And these two series are very connected. And I know it doesn't seem that way.
No.
But they are.
Okay.
First of all, I know you haven't read or seen a lot of it.
I read the first chapter.
Okay. There's 200. Anyway.
I'm 1/200th of the way there.
236 at this moment.
Wild, you know that.
I read them every week. I love that. I love it. In Jujutsu Kaisen, curses are born of humans' emotions and beliefs.
I know that. I watched a few episodes with you.
Yeah, I know. And
I'd hope you do.
The underlying plot is there's a secret society of people who know the truth about the world, protecting the people from the things that they have created.
Right.
And it's interesting how we think about this so often, about how we think our thoughts are so powerful.
Yeah, right. A lot of the art that's being made right now, a lot of stuff we're connecting to is this idea that, like, people are against us.
It's not just that. It's that we have a pervasive belief in media, I think, that comes up a lot, that our thoughts define reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities between Itadori and Cole, because they are both complete outsiders to the world. Does
Itadori have a husband who is a man?
Well, wish he did. I would like it more. We see these story tropes over and over again.
Right.
The thing that makes us like the Department of Truth so much is the same thing that makes us like Jujutsu Kaisen so much. Because we like to believe that there is something secret going on that we don't know about. And there is magical men protecting us from it.
Because the world is chaotic. The world makes no sense. And so we want to find order in it. Mm-hmm. And we look towards our art. And our art says, what if it's this? Mm-hmm. And it's, maybe.
The thing is, though, Jujutsu Kaisen does it with a lot more subtlety.
Yeah, this book is really not subtle.
It has abandoned subtext, which I really appreciate.
I love it for that. I think it would not work if it was trying to be subtextual.
Well, let's think about the culture Jujutsu Kaisen is in and its publishing schedule.
Sure, yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen comes out every week.
Yeah.
Every single week.
Insane.
It's insane. And on top of that, like, manga rarely just comes out and says things.
Yeah.
You gotta really look under the surface. They don't like being overhanded with their messages, which is fine, but it sort of leads us to this point where we don't think these two pieces of media are connected whatsoever.
No, because
I really think they highly are.
Yeah, and there's also the idea that, like, Jujutsu Kaisen is obviously a fairly mainstream corporate book, which doesn't make it bad, but in the world of American comics, Department of Truth is, while really popular and calling it indie at this point, is like, is it? I don't know. But it's not the mainstream, right? The mainstream is Marvel or DC.
Let me say something. I believe the Jujutsu Kaisen anime is corporate, and the manga is still independent.
How is that possible, though?
Do you want me to tell you why I believe this?
No, I would like you to make a sweeping declaration and not say anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, why do you think that?
Because even though the manga is so popular, even though Yuji Akutami has an editor and fans, at the end of the day...
Do they not usually have editors?
No, they always have editors.
Okay.
Even though all these things are true, despite the popularity, he is still the one putting ink to page.
Right.
You can't stop him from writing what he wants Jujutsu Kaisen to be.
Sure.
The anime, however, is made by a sleuth of people.
Sure.
Which is fine, that's how animation works, but I feel like there's a part of just the unabashed connection that I have with this other human being who goes by the name Jiji Akutami that gets lost when it gets animated by a team of people.
I think that's also what I appreciate so much about this book. Obviously, you wouldn't know this, but I read a lot, basically everything Tynion writes, right? And they all have really similar themes. I mean, the main character is always gay and wears glasses, unless he's Batman. Literally, unless he is writing a Batman book, the main character is gay and wears glasses.
Well, and Batman can be gay.
Batman is gay. I don't know how else to express it. He dresses up in tights with another man.
What other man?
Robin.
Oh,
he has like 8 of them.
But that's like his son.
Dude.
That's what they say, at least.
Dude. Do you want to go into this? We don't have time for this.
Okay.
DC had to stop using Robin in the movies and kind of in the comics because everyone thought they were gay.
Really?
There is a famous book called Seduction of Innocence by this total pseudo-scientist psychologist who was totally making shit up, and his test subjects were already delinquent teens who had already, like, been in jail. And he was like, do you read comics? And they were like, yeah. And then he goes and writes a book, and he's like, all these people, all these teens who are in jail read comics. Clearly there's a reason why. And then he also writes, and then he's also like, and also, think about Batman. He's gay. And then he said that to Congress. It is his pervasive idea forever.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Really interesting.
Huh.
Anyways,
Totally don't know what we were talking about.
we were talking about Department of Truth.
We were talking about comic author theory.
Yeah, auteur theory.
Auteur theory.
Which I don't think is a thing in American comics, unless...
Oh, is this one?
No, I mean, he fully didn't draw it.
Right.
Mark Simmons fully drew it.
I guess that's true.
I don't know. Auteur theory, I don't like auteur theory.
I don't think anyone else cares. What is on my... Dude.
What?
It's an old Band-Aid on my water bottle.
How?
I don't know.
Guys.
When is the last time I wore a Band-Aid?
Why would I know?
You live with me.
I don't look at your skin. I don't perceive you. I don't know this. There's an unspoken barrier between us.
Okay.
Do you want to get into some things that James Tynion has said about the book?
No.
Okay. I tried to find quotes by Martin Simmons.
Is that this guy's name? Martin Simmons?
I don't know if I'm saying his last name right.
There's a D?
Yeah. Sibdens? I don't know how to say it. His first name's Martin.
Huh.
Anyways, I sent them to Oscar in a Discord DM.
Don't get distracted.
I'm not getting distracted.
Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is
Okay.
Who?
I'm the one getting distracted by the iPad.
We didn't pin the messages.
Oh my God.
Dude, our Wi-Fi's down again.
Cannot be.
Guys, does anyone have Spectrum? Because we pay like $80 a month and it's down every day. Okay, it's working. Kind of. Okay, I'm
we
here.
text so much.
We text so much. We're such good friends.
We really like each other.
Okay, so this is from an interview that the comic website AIPT.com did. I don't know if you're supposed to say it as one word or not.
AIPT?
Yeah, aped. I don't know. Great site. Really good site.
How would we put that in the International Phonetic Alphabet?
I don't know what that is. Oh. Oscar's in a linguistics.
I'm really liking it.
But in answer to whether or not James Tynion, takes these conspiracy theories so seriously, especially
James Tynion. Okay.
Yeah, you know how I know that? It's because his studio is called Tiny Onion.
That's a great name.
I know. Look at his name.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
All right.
So basically, he was saying that he used to watch Oliver Stone's JFK movie every year, and he was really deep in that. But in relation to whether or not he's still into it, he said no. And honestly, this is going to sound really choppy because I'm just reading a quote. No, and honestly, it's something that, the JFK one is really interesting because it gives you a framework to look at the United States government, where there's an element that's actually good about thinking about the government in terms of what does the government actually want? Who benefits? I think a lot of times what conspiracy theories mess up more than anything is the idea of people making concrete plans and acting on them. But a lot of times, people in power are going to work to maintain and protect their power. That often puts the average people of the world at a disadvantage, and I do genuinely believe that. I don't think there's conspiracy behind that. I think it's a natural byproduct of how we built our society. And I think it's messed up that we have a society built that way, and I think there are a lot of elements to our society that are designed to obfuscate the fact that society is not built to benefit the most number of people. Mm-hmm. And I think that inherent contradiction it leads them towards conspiracy. So basically, what he's saying is he's giving a reason to why he's so interested in these conspiracy theories.
It's also really funny that he's like, yeah, if we didn't live under the crueling weight of capitalism, we wouldn't need conspiracy theories to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying in so many words.
Yeah.
Is that, he doesn't agree with people who are crazy and act crazy and violent because of their conspiracy theories. But also, he's like, you can't just be like, why do they believe that? It's really obvious why they think that. Mm-hmm. Because the government's always up to some crap.
Always fucking with them.
Always up to some shit.
Why'd you say crap?
I don't know. At the moment, I was like, we just quoted this writer. What if he doesn't want me to curse in his name?
How many times have they said fuck in this comic?
A lot.
A lot of times.
A lot of times. But yeah, I think going into a book like this with that open-minded of a sort of idea is sort of important.
Yeah, you can't judge the people who believe this.
You can't.
I mean, you can.
You can, but you can't be the writer of a book about conspiracy theories and just inherently assume they're all bullshit and based upon them.
Sure, right. You need to have a certain level of, like, suspending your disbelief for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does a really good job at that, honestly.
He really does, yeah.
Because the book does present all the evidence to all these theories.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible that some weirdo could read this book and be like, oh, wait, it's all true. I mean, it gives you every piece of evidence that they believe in.
A powerful moment that illustrates that is when Cole is talking to his husband, Maddie, and Maddie's like, yeah, reptilians are crazy. Good thing they aren't real, though. And he's like, yeah. Because it's like...
Are they?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
Cole is like, well, they very well could be.
I have no evidence that they're not.
Like, I guess there could be lizard people out there, but it's like, who cares? I'm not buying into the whole underlying anti-Semitism of it, or whatever. You know?
Right.
Because people view conspiracy theories as, oh, you believe lizards control the world, you're so insane. But
that's not really what they believe.
The real insidious nature of it is what's underlying it.
Right.
Right.
And the reason they believe that isn't because they're crazy, it's because they are hurt and don't know what to do with their lives. A lot of people feel that way. They feel ignored. And that's how you get modern conspiracy theories, which is also what he talks about here with stuff like QAnon, right? Because that started on like 4chan or 8chan, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know what 8chan is, personally.
It's a more...
It's 4chan squared?
Yeah,
well,
on purpose.
Doubled, sorry.
Because it's more anonymous, more encrypted, more unmoderated.
It's insane.
You can post whatever you want on there. It was banned. You can't go on it anymore.
Huh.
Like, IP addresses will not allow you.
I don't really fully understand what QAnon is. There's Q, who was an insider to the government feeding people secrets about it.
So that's what people... I watched a whole documentary with this on HBO last year. It's really interesting. Wow, that was the most pretentious thing I've ever said in my life.
No, it isn't. You said more pretentious things 10 minutes ago.
But basically, QAnon is this, like, weird theory that, like, it started with...
Oh my god, I have to say something.
Okay.
If you guys are wondering why I keep looking at Max's lap, is because there's an iPad. I'm not looking. Whatever you thought it was, it's just the iPad.
Do you know what the Pizzagate conspiracy is?
Not really. I think it's really funny when they put gate on things, though. I think it's really funny.
Deflategate.
What is that?
That's when the Patriots
oh my god, yeah.
deflated their footballs. Great move, by the way. So funny.
Did they do that for real?
Yeah, it was real. It wasn't a conspiracy. They did it.
But
they just actively cheated.
I guess that's true. Gate doesn't imply conspiracy theory. Watergate just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, the Patriots were, like, better than everyone. They just, like, did it anyway. So funny.
I don't know anything about sports.
Yeah, no,
I'm sure you just pissed off so many people.
Anyways, Pizzagate is, like, this idea that there's, like, this weird conspiracy theory that, like, I don't know all the details. I'm not gonna lie. But there was, like, a pizza chain somewhere in New Jersey that somehow people thought was a child sex ring, like, run by Hillary Clinton.
But why?
Someone said that.
Okay.
And so from that, there was this guy named Q who would, like, drop info about the government and about, like, you know, people on the inside trying to take down Trump or, like, the Democratic child sex. It's really a lot about child sex rings.
It's always been about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, most of the time when Q was right, it was just because, like, whoever Q is, which they basically confirmed is just the person that owned the site, which is so funny, by the way.
Obviously.
Was just reading the news and making, like, a basic analyzation of what is happening in the country and saying, this will probably happen next. And so then that sort of morphed into Trump losing the election and people being like, oh, he lost because he was sabotaged because Q said that.
Right.
So that's what QAnon is.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Q. Do you think they buy any of this stuff?
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Alex Jones might.
Maybe.
He's really stupid. I think that if he didn't buy it, I don't think he would have taken it, the Sandy Hook stuff, so far that he lost all that money that he lost.
Maybe. Well, I think it was still a net gain for him.
Yeah, probably. Tucker Carlson does not believe anything.
Right.
There's no... I mean, there's old clips of him before he was on Fox. He was basically just, like, a centrist.
So then how do we explain that he got fired for being a religious freak? Because that's why he got fired.
Is that what he got fired
The president of Fox
Yeah.
went over to his house for dinner and was creeped out by how religious Tucker Carlson was.
Is that true?
Yes.
I mean...
Like, how do you explain that? Because part of me thinks, okay, these people are just saying it to make that paycheck.
Right.
Which is terrible. But
Well, there's two things. Maybe if you spend your whole life doing something to get a paycheck, eventually
you start believing
you
in
just
it.
start believing in it, because how can you not?
That's what I think.
Which is kind of what the book's about, too.
Yeah.
If you surround your life with all this evidence that something's true, even if you're doing it for a job, eventually, you know, why wouldn't it become true to you?
Yeah. we are much more easily influenced than we would like to admit.
Yeah. Most people are not that smart. Like, no one's really that smart.
Except us.
Except, oh yeah.
Guys,
Guys.
you are getting in on geniuses right
We are give us so much money. Because we need it to nurture our brains. What?
Yeah.
Is that not a normal word to say?
We haven't even talked about the comic allegedly being bipartisan.
Right. So this was something that I read yesterday in the same interview.
This one interview is giving us so much.
Oh, yeah. So here's the quote.
I'm
not going to lie to you. It is taken out of context on purpose because I thought it would be more interesting to talk about.
Can I read it?
Yeah.
Where do I start reading?
The last one. I formatted it. I did Markdown.
It is a book that plays with contemporary reality and contemporary politics, but I didn't want it to read like a partisan book, because what it touches on transcends left-right divide. There is something more universal at play, and bigger threats at play. I think my personal politics are pretty obvious, but launching a book about conspiracy theories in the middle of a presidential election, in the middle of a plague, I was worried that it would be too bleak, or it was going to be too political in a time that nobody wanted something political.
Love the word plague. Great word. No one ever calls it a plague.
Yeah.
It was literally a plague, was it not?
We had plagues since Egypt.
But it was a plague.
What was the last plague we had? Bubonic?
Bubonic, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you can still get. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
You can just get it,
Mm-hmm.
and you're fine.
Well, yeah.
You'll be fine.
People are always getting bubonic plague because they're in
People
Mongolia.
are always
getting it in Mongolia.
Bubonic plague.
Because, like, there's, like, this law that, like, they're like, please don't eat this one animal that gives you bubonic plague. And every year someone does it.
Because it's tasty, probably.
Anyway,
anyways.
That's an insane quote.
Really, really weird thing to say about your own book.
Also, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody wanted something political. People love political media.
I think what he was trying to say is that people didn't want to read a book that was more of just, like, grandstanding and, like, you're stupid if you are voting for Trump.
Yeah.
Which...
But that media doesn't really exist.
It doesn't... People claim it exists.
But it doesn't really.
I know.
Yeah, we should get into that.
Do you want to get into that? I don't know that I necessarily agree with the concept that this book isn't partisan because, like, it clearly paints one side as inventing all the conspiracy theories. But I do understand what he's saying by it's a more universal thing.
Sure, but most media, and let me say this, and especially most leftist media, very nuanced.
Yeah. Because
there's not much media that exists that is just, if you are a Republican, you are a stupid, irredeemable person. That doesn't...
Because it's just...
Where is that happening?
It's not effective. It's happening in Republicans' minds.
Sure, but, like, what even examples do they use? Starfield, for they-them pronouns.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I don't know.
So this guy, it's actually very interesting. This guy is basing what he writes off of fake realities Republicans have made up in their brains.
You kind of have to at some point.
Sure.
It's hard to be someone who creates...
But that not a little bit counter to what the comic is?
Yeah, exactly. Because we don't have to agree with everything that the writer says.
Yeah. He shouldn't be believing that there is all of this, in-your-face political stuff that just is not there.
I also just don't think anyone's buying this book who isn't already on board with whatever policies that we're on board with here. Right? Like...
I mean, like, I know he's trying to make it bipartisan, but the main character is a gay man. You have barred
I think
many people from reading this.
I think by bipartisan, he more so means, like, I'm not going to talk about a conspiracy theory that's like a policy, right?
Right.
He's saying
he
that,
means
like,
bipartisan.
this affects everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
This is dangerous for everyone.
But he seems to not understand that just by centering a gay man, he has alienated a large portion of his potential audience.
You know, I really do think he does understand that.
No, but in that quote...
Oh, which I took out of context.
It's contradictory.
Right. We'll never give you guys the context for that quote. Don't remember it. And it was much more interesting to talk about without the context.
Things always are more interesting if they're just headlines, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because then I can just make up the...
Did you remember the headline we read yesterday?
No.
Yesterday, I sent Oscar an article with the headline, Ahsoka explains who wrote the scrawl in the beginning of the Star Wars movies. Did not read the article. Have to assume that's not what happened in the episode. But I like to think that is what happened.
It's insane. That shouldn't have lore. That should just be a fun thing that the movies have.
It doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because if you say that it exists in universe, then what is it?
Then what the fuck is going on?
It doesn't make any sense.
Why can't we just say George Lucas is talking to the viewers? Like,
I don't know. What if we started a segment where we go to like CBR, which is like a shitty comic book, like AI. They use fucking AI now. Anyways, and we just read their headlines.
That'd be funny.
Yesterday, oh my god, I was doing research on this book yesterday, and do you know what I read a headline for? Do you remember this? It said something like, it was from CBR, something like, Spider-Man just faced off against the Department of Truth's biggest villain. What are you talking about? It was just that Spider-Man had fought some guy in an issue that made conspiracy theories real.
Spider-Man fought Lee Harvey Oswald.
Spider-Man fought Lee Harvey Oswald. We haven't decided what we're going to read for next week yet.
Do you want me to pick something?
Yeah, pick it right now. Go, right now, go.
I really want to read this.
Oh, the thing you were telling me about?
No, I want to read this manga about a gay little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you interested in that?
I'm very interested in that. I feel like we have to,
Oh, I should not do this right now.
No.
Okay.
But, we are not dating.
Yeah. Right. Not dating.
Not dating. I don't want to see any of that.
You've made it 100 times worse by doing that,
But yeah, we're probably going to mostly read gay stuff in this.
A lot of manga is just
Yeah.
so gay.
Like, don't, this is not for you if you don't like that stuff.
Sort of like Cole Turner.
Oh,
His
yeah.
husband, Maddie.
Oh, he's a man, by the way. He's a man who is married to a man.
Cole Turner.
Mm-hmm. Also, his husband's name is Maddie.
Yeah.
Did not go far enough. Should have named him Man. Maddie could go either way.
Really weird thing this comic does, by the way. Every time there's two T's next to each other, it's a different character than if there's two T's next to each other.
That is
really fucks me up.
because of letterer. Oh, I'm going to butcher this name. Aditya Bidkar. He's the letterer. Comics have letterers. There's a quote in the back of this from Forbes. Are you picking up a comic because business magazine Forbes recommends it?
I am.
The Forbes readership is split between shareholders and comic fans.
Why do they even pretend like they care about this?
I guess it makes them money because you can write a headline.
I guess.
You know who else is on the back of this? Brian Michael Bendis.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It all comes back to
And Scott Snyder.
Whoa. I love that. I love that there's these accredited comic writers and then just Forbes.
Forbes.
And it's the worst review of the three of them.
Anyways, this has been Comics on Comics, episode 1. I'm Max.
Oh, and I'm Oscar.
There'll be links,
And
maybe.
the chair does not get any lower than this.
There might be links that you could follow us on if we decide to do that. Share this, please, if you liked it, because it'll help us out. And maybe we won't give up. If people start listening.
You can't say that.
We're going to edit it out.
Okay. So do we want to do another outro?
Yeah, we want to do another outro.
Yeah.
This has been Comics on Comics, episode 1. I've been Max.
Oh, and I'm Oscar.
Links in the bottom to everything you need. Please share. If you liked this, subscribe on whatever platform you watched it on. Also, by the way, we're calling it a podcast, but
This is totally a YouTube thing.
we recommend that you watch it.
Yeah.
Because
I imagine your experience just listening to this was miserable.
eventually we might get into physical comedy. We might act out the comics.
Dude, do you want to play rock, paper, scissors for our outro?
Yeah, okay.
And whoever wins gets to push the stop recording button.
Every time?
Every time.
I feel like we've one too many quirks. I think we have to pick one. In the comments, I want you guys to say your favorite quirk. And whichever one gets the most upvotes, we will not be doing that one
Can
anymore.
I predict the highest one?
We will not be doing that one anymore.
I love the quirk that they're dating.
Yeah.
that's definitely going to be it.
Yeah.
I have a girlfriend. And
So
so
do
do
I.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually live with Oscar's girlfriends.
Okay, rock, paper, scissors?
Okay. But none of this best out of 3 shit.
No, yeah. And then you know what people are going to do? They're going to make like an Excel spreadsheet of who wins the most and what we play to analyze our... I'll do that.
Basically, Oscar's asking someone to do that.
No, I kind of want to do it now.
It's
If you-
rock, paper, scissors. It's going to be a third chance every time.
But what if it isn't? Because we are psychological beings. Can we do this?
Okay.
You did 4 of them.
Okay. Rock,
paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
No, go.
I...
No, and.
We are from different regions. Oscar's from New Jersey. And I'm from New York.
Very different.
Lower New York. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Go ahead.
Bye.